$162 million debut overseas. The latest installment in Universal's testosterone-fueled franchise kicked off, with a massive $162.4 million in 8 markets, including China, Korea and Hong Kong. Those ticket sales easily marked the best start for a Hollywood blockbuster since COVID-19 hit. It's an encouraging start to summer movie season, particularly because revenues weren't far off from what a fast movie would have generated at the box office in non-pandemic times. Moviegoers are eager to come back to theaters when the right movie is out there. Veronika Kwan Vandenberg. It's a great movie for the China market. It has a strong fanbase. Of this weekend's $162 million bounty, $135 million came from China alone. That ranks as the second biggest launch for the series in the country following the 8th entry, 2017's The Fate of the Furious, $184 million. In another notable milestone, it's the first Hollywood title in 2 years, since Disney's 2019 superhero epic, Avengers: Endgame, to debut to more than $100 million in China. Elsewhere, F9 opened to $9.9 million in Korea, as well as $6.2 million in the Middle East and $2.4 million in Hong Kong. With this weekend's ticket sales, the Fast franchise has pushed past $6 billion globally. F9, directed by Justin Lin and starring Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, John Cena, is deploying a staggered rollout across the world as the globe recovers from the pandemic. It touches down in the US on June 25 and will bow in 60 additional markets over the summer. Unlike upcoming blockbuster hopefuls, such as Disney's Black Widow, and the Warner Brothers musical, In the Heights, F9 will only be offered in theaters, at least for its first few weekends of release. It was much quieter at the box office in North America, where the gruesome horror film, Spiral, action-adventure, Wrath of Man, and wilderness thriller, Those Who Wished Me Dead, presided over the competition. Without any new nationwide releases, Spiral remained in first place with $4.5 million from 2,991 screens in its second weekend of release. The movie, a creepy addition to the Saw franchise that stars Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, has generated $15 million in the US to date. In second, Wrath of Man collected $2.9 million from 3,007 theaters. After 3 weeks on the big screen, the Jason Statham-led vigilante flick has amassed $18.8 million. Ticket sales for Those Who Wish Me Dead, starring Angelina Jolie, dipped 35% from its opening weekend. The film brought in $1.8 million from 3,379 venues between Friday and Sunday, boosting its total haul to a bleak $5.5 million. The Warner Brothers movie, like the studio's entire 2021 slate, is currently playing on HBO Max, and will remain on the streaming service for 31 days in total. Disney's Raya and the Last Dragon, and the Warner Brothers' tentpole Godzilla vs. Kong, rounded out the top 5 on domestic box office charts. The family-friendly Raya and the Last Dragon pulled ever so slightly ahead of Godzilla vs. Kong, with $1.6 million in ticket sales, compared to $1.4 million for the latter. Raya and the Last Dragon, which initially debuted 12 weeks ago in theaters and on Disney+, has made $48 million at the box office. Meanwhile, Godzilla vs. Kong, which is still being offered on HBO Max, is just shy of the $100 million mark with ticket sales hovering at $97 million. In the US, the box office is expected to ramp up over Memorial Day weekend as Paramount's nearly silent sequel, A Quiet Place Part II, and Disney's Cruella land in theaters.